Okay, first of all, I'm back. Anyone miss me?
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
Okay, you know, you don't have to be mean or anything. Anyways, guys, today we have a Life is Strange video, even though most of you love our Walking Dead content, and don't worry, today will be a double upload for Walking Dead as well. So you already know what to do, smash that like button and hit that subscribe button. Alright, so today we're going to talk about why Life is Strange 2 isn't including Max and Chloe. Is Life is Strange worth it without the relatable Max Caulfield and not so relatable but priceless Chloe Price? Through the words from Alfie Wilson from Eurogamer.net and devs themselves. Let's get started. Hey guys, I'm Chantel from SmackNPie and you're watching The Guy Gaming Show. And before we begin, feel free to hit that subscribe button as we upload videos related to gaming every single day, such as Life is Strange and Telltale's Walking Dead. And yes, that's right, every single day. We're above 2,000 and now the goal is 10,000. I know we can do this, we're strong. Let's make this community even stronger. Okay, so Don't Nod dropped the reveal trailer a few days ago. We cover everything for that. It'll be up in the cards. Also, they dropped gameplay from it as well. You can watch the ending. Again, it'll be up in the cards. So, the question here is, do these characters deserve a chance? Is Life is Strange incomplete without Max and Chloe? What's the aim for this season and for the entire Life is Strange? Well, let's talk about the story and its background. Life is Strange 2 focuses on the story of two brothers, Sean and Daniel Diaz, who are on a dangerous road trip after a series of tragic events near the beginning of the game forced them to go on the run from police under threat of separation and arrest. It's set 3 years after the events of Life is Strange 1, so 2016, and begins a few nights before Halloween. Sean is the older brother and the playable character, a talented 16-year-old would-be artist who hates parties, has a crush on a girl named Jen, much to the amusement of his best friend Layla, and likes chilling in his room while listening to the streets. His younger brother, Daniel, is 9, loves Halloween, zombies, and chocolate bars, and has a mini crush on Layla, much to the amusement of Sean. They seem to have a fairly quiet life with their father in suburban Seattle until things unravel shockingly fast and they're forced to go on the run with nothing but the clothes on their back, stolen party supplies, and a small helping of pocket money. Here's what Devs has to say. It was a big change and a challenge. Co-director Michelle Koch says, it's a road movie structure and you're always on the move. You'll see over the course of the season, but you'll have to leave things behind to move on. The anchor of the game is really Sean and Daniel. They are the main characters, but like in road trip movies, when you meet a lot of different people, you give them something, they give you something, and they leave part of themselves with you when you move on. What road trip movies were the team inspired by? Stand By Me? Stand By Me is a good one, but I was going to say Into the Wild. Koch says, in books, something like Of Mice and Men. But of course, we always do a lot of research. We did a lot of traveling along the West Coast and tried to meet a lot of people on the fringe parts of society to try and see how it is, to try and not be cliche. Sean and Daniel's status as outcasts is also important, and Don't Nod says that players will discover how hard it is to live as outcasts. No doubt, this certainly will play into how the pair interact with strangers, and how some people they meet may want to help them, and others, not so much. We also knew that we didn't want to do a small town setting with a fixed set of characters again, because we might end up going into some similar themes and issues as the first game. It might have been a comfort zone for us and for players. Instead, we wanted to think about something which would allow us to tackle a completely different subject matter and themes. So, we thought about the idea of two brothers alone on the road, who just need to take care of each other, and discovering society from a different angle, as they are outcasts now. Koch continued, really early we thought we had the friendship/relationship with Max and Chloe, but what if you had to look after another character? The main theme of the game is education. Sean is young, 16, but he grows up too fast because of what happens. He now has to take care of his brother. Daniel is 9, not really a child anymore, but definitely not a teenager. Somewhere in the middle, somewhere in between, where you are getting a lot from around you, but starting to develop your own personality. It was the perfect age for us to really have you reflect on your decisions, to have this little kid always with you, always looking at you, taking examples from you, and, over the course of the game, starting to mimic the things you do, or develop his own personality based on what you told him. That's a lot of pressure, and added to this is the fact that Daniel, not Sean, is seemingly the one with supernatural abilities. But Max's gift was the ability to rewind time. Daniel seemed to be the power of telekinesis, to move objects and people through the air with care, as seen at the end of Captain Spirit, or with great force. I don't want to say a lot, because you'll have to discover over the course of the episode. Koch tells us when we ask him about the nature of Daniel's powers, what's important to us is that powers are definitely a part of the list's universe, but definitely not the focus. The focus is the characters, their story, and the idea of supernatural powers is something we use to emphasize the issues and the problems that are already there. The rewind appeared for Max when she needed it most, when going through stress or when something triggered it. In Life is Strange 2, there is the same idea, that supernatural elements bring another layer to the story we want to tell. What's also interesting about Daniel, in particular, is whether because of actually using the power or because of the physical and mental shock of its very first manifestation, he seemingly has very little recollection of the horrific events that set the game in motion. Sean seems eager to keep him in the dark about it, for the time being too, something that he's no doubt doing to protect his little brother, but that will more than likely only serve to draw a wedge between them in the long run. One thing that Don't Nod were keen to talk about was that Life is Strange 2's main theme is education. Sean is responsible for Daniel now, and everything he does, says, and teaches his little brother will leave a lasting impression, and how much players decide to pass on, and indeed exactly what they pass on, will not only depend on what they do as Sean during key moments, but also how much they explore the world around them. Things in the world that you can specifically interact with alongside Daniel will be highlighted in blue as you wander around. While walking through the forest, we saw opportunities to show and explain different things to Daniel, knowledge that could feasibly save his life at a later date, which wild berries were edible, how to spot a trailblaze, how to check maps, what animals to watch out for, and more besides. Speaking of Max, some fans of the original series have expressed a little disappointment that this season won't continue the trend of young female protagonists, but Don't Nod insist that the core spirit of Life is Strange is a universal experience. It's possible that just as Life is Strange 1 tackled a lot of themes that were particularly relatable, though not unique to young women, slut-shaming, revenge porn, teenage pregnancy, sexual violence, Life is Strange 2 might tackle problems faced by young men, toxic masculinity, brotherhood, and finding out what kind of man you want to become. I think they're different to the usual white dudes you find in video games, Koch says of the brothers. Not that those characters are bad, we definitely could have a good Life is Strange game with a white dude. With Sean and Daniel, their father, where they come from, we have a lot of interesting mechanics and dynamics, some new social themes we can bring in and show to players to bring to light. Given the current political climate in America, and the fact that the journey these boys undertake includes both the threat of incarceration and the separation of families, it's certainly possible that Life is Strange 2 will have interesting things to say about race and immigration. This is especially likely as one of the game's earliest scenes involves Sean and Daniel's Mexican father, Esteban, in an unbelievably tense altercation with a young white cop. The original series was also praised for allowing players to depict Max and Chloe's relationship as romantic. So many fans will be hoping for this follow-up to touch upon LGBT issues. Both Sean and Daniel express a romantic interest in girls in the very first scene of the game, but is there still room to explore gay themes in Season 2? We were extremely happy with the reception from the LGBT community for the first game, in the ending, in the way you were working your relationship with Chloe, Koch told us. We really hope with Sean and Daniel. We hope everybody, most of the players, will really love the themes we are dealing with, and you'll have to see what happens over the course of the season. We are here to talk about a lot of characters. We want to be inclusive and to work in the best way possible to deal with real subjects in a sensible way. One thing that Sean can do that Max couldn't, however, is multitask. You're no longer locked into a mini cutscene while you talk to people. For example, you can wander around looking at and reading different points of interest while having a full-on conversation and choosing from multiple responses. According to Don't Nod, this creates a more immersive and natural experience. But more than that, it means completionists won't be quite so harshly punished for time because they decide to pursue every avenue of conversation and read every single note. It helps this time around too, that since the game is built using the Unreal 4 engine, as opposed to Unreal 3 for the first series, there's a marked improvement in both lip syncing and the overall facial animations, more on par with the quality that players will have seen in the more recent prequel series, Life is Strange, Before the Storm. There will no doubt be an adjustment period, as players get used to the idea of the Life is Strange universe without Max and Chloe, but everything Don't Nod has shown of Life is Strange 2 so far is a bold statement of intent, as the new season allows different voices, themes, and storylines to come to the fore. All of the classic Life is Strange elements are here: a carefully curated music playlist, beautiful art direction, interesting relationships, difficult decisions, and just a hint of the supernatural. And honestly, after seeing the gut punch that Don't Nod has in store for players within the first 20 minutes or so, we're confident that Season 2 won't be shying away from difficult themes and complex moral dilemmas. And we're hella excited to see what Life is Strange 2 Episode 1 will bring to the open road come September. Now, I know it was a lot to take in, but one thing that stands out of all is Life is Strange is not just about Max and Chloe. It's about relatable characters, stories, themes that revolves around real-life issues. Supernatural power is just an element to help players feel a bit more connected to the story. Now, with that being said, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and also make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Other than that, I'm Chantel. Until next time, peace!